just as we move along very quickly. So our first speaker for the night is the person of Christopher Olowosoke. Christopher, apologies if I did not pronounce your surname well. He's a biotechnologist, IBMT fellow, as well as GAFA awardee. He's the founder of Biospherea Academic Consult, where they provide consulting services as well as mentoring to students on essential skills for career and research progress. Right now, Christopher is a UNESCO ICB scholar with research interest in developing wearable herbal medicine formulated eye implants. That's an amazing research interest. So I'd like us all to welcome Christopher. He'll be speaking to us on essential skills for early career scientists. Christopher, you're welcome. I'm not seeing our excitement in the chat. I mean, I'm not excited to have him speak to us. Please, I want more emojis, more reactions, even as it comes up.
I want to appreciate the great works that you guys have been doing since your inception. I knew you guys started as Science Cafe, so it's not new to me what you guys are doing. So I expect that I'm going to be delivering what you all want from me today. And the theme of your anniversary is 40 years, Empowering 21st Century Bioscientists, which is a very interesting theme. But when I look at it, I felt this 21st century already, scientists are doing beyond what we expect they would do in 21st century. But because I believe we are still in 21st century, it's something that we must be aware of as bioscientists in our different discipline. So today I'm just going to be going directly to the title that I've been given to teach us today, which is the essential skill for early career scientists. Essential skills for early career scientists. Yeah, is my screen visible? Can we all see my screen?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Essential skills for early career scientists. So before I begin, I would want us to understand who an early career scientist is. So based on what I have here, an early career scientist, an individual who has recently completed a IS degree. And this is usually within the last 10 years and is in the early stage of their research career. So these kind of people are always recent graduate students or people that are just graduating. But then based on what I was able to get online, I discovered that even recent graduates are not really part of people who classify as early career scientists. So it's basically people from PhD holder, postdoctoral researchers, junior faculty, and other young scientists. Now, this is what an early career scientist is. So why is it early? Why do we call it early career scientists? Because we have early, we have mid, and we have late career scientists. Now, these early career scientists are people who have limited experience. Now, they have, I think someone is talking there. Okay, have limited experience in research, teaching, or qualities that are needed for career pursuits. Now, the other thing why it's being called early is because these people are planning to establish their research program. For instance, not everyone, like I said, not everyone is going to be a PhD holder, not everyone is going to be a master holder or postdoctoral scientist. So some people just stop at graduates, that's the first degree, and they begin to plan to establish maybe a program or work with a program or under a laboratory. So these are also people that we classify under early career scientists. And people that also seek to establish themselves. Now, you might want to navigate out of research, but also go into research and development, but not core research. These are also people that we classify. This is one of the reasons why we call it early career scientists, seeking themselves to establish. So they may be looking to establish themselves as experts in their field or build their professional network. Now, It is called early because, like I want to say, it's a period that highlights the beginning of conducting independent research. And this often comes with enthusiasm and fresh perspective for innovation approach. So what are skills? Now, the skills for early career scientists, these are ability, knowledge, and experts that an individual possess and implements to perform specific tasks or job effectively. So when it comes to a research scientist or bioscientist, skills are something we acquire, our knowledge, expertise we acquire through education most of the time. But then it's not limited to education. It also boils down to training, experience, or practical in which we get to involve ourselves in. So what are the skills that are essential for a bioscientist in this 21st century? Now, there are diverse skills which are intersected from one skill to another. But what I've been able to put down here are just 6, which is the fundamental skill, personal quality skill, laboratory and research skill, digital and technical skill, professional development skill, and leadership. Fundamental skill. What are fundamental skills? These are essential skills to perform tasks, solve problems, and achieve goals in various aspects of life, including personal, academic, and professional setting. Now, for fundamental skills, this skill is basically skills that you don't need to be educated or really go to school before you know how to perform these skills. Not, like I said, not everyone is going to advance in their academic career. But then, because we are bioscientists here, these fundamental skills are skills that we expect that everyone is going to have. So they are basic, they are foundational skills that we need to have as a bioscientists. So some of the fundamental skills that we have is adaptability. Now, in adaptability, we have to be flexible, resilient, and able to adapt to change. Now, in an environment where you are working as a bioscientist and there are challenges, maybe you are facing difficulties in moving forward in what you are doing or working in an environment that is not conducive, you should be able to adapt, or you should be flexible enough to still work in that environment to be productive. So that is where adaptability comes. It's not a skill you need to have when you maybe in it's a skill you need to have not just in fundamental, it's also a course in other parts of the skill that I'm going to be mentioning today. So the first fundamental skill is adaptability. The second thing about under fundamental skill is curiosity and critical thinking. Now, everyone can think, but not everyone can think critically. So thinking critically brings the will with the ability to ask questions, analyze data, and also think critically. So you have to be curious as a person. If you're a bioscientist, you want to come up with ideas that no one has come up with before, no one has done before. You want to ask questions that is going to lead to innovation in your field. You have to be curious enough and have a critical thinking ability. So this is one other factor under fundamental skill. Now, another fundamental skill is observation and attention to details. Now, there are times in which you might be conducting a research and there are issues with data or what you are working on. A person that is having that's taking that is very attentive to details is going to easily identify issues, easily identify error, easily identify challenges they are facing. So also help them navigate or get solutions. So you have to be an observational person and always pay attention to details. Another fundamental skill, which is also reflecting in other skills I've mentioned earlier, is communication. Effective verbal and written communication skills are essential for conveying ideas and collaborating with colleagues and presenting information clearly. So these are fundamental skills that is expected, that is in this 21st century, a bioscientist or a scientist in general need to have for success. Now, going forward, we have personal quality skills. Now, these are skills that enable individuals to manage themselves and interact effectively with others to achieve their goals. Now, these skills are essential for personal and professional growth, not just, and are often considered to be valuable to employer and educator or stakeholder. For instance, I know Biospherea is a community of different bioscientists from different fields. Now, I believe individual of us in this team are going to be having one or two personal quality skill, which is going to be useful for your organization. For instance, you all are open-minded people, and you are a people that welcome knowledge that is diverse. So I've been able to go through some of your programs. I discovered that sometimes you people will be talking about microbiology. Sometimes you people talk about biochemistry. Sometimes you talk about virology, which is a very diverse setting, diverse environment for people that are not even an expert in whatever you are going to be talking on. So these are personal qualities in which is going to enhance the growth of individuals in your team. And so some of the personal quality skills that I've been able to get out is a person that has passion for learning, a genuine interest in scientific inquiry and learning and discovery. Like I said, I know not everyone are doing the same thing on Biospherea. Not anyone will get the opportunity to work on the same thing. But when you are involved in an environment, in a community that is going to help you learn what you are not really an expert in, you get to build yourself. You get to build your personal skills. You get to build qualities that is going to help you get interest in scientific inquiry and learning for discovery. So another personal quality skill is integrity and ethics. In integrity and ethics, this is where you have commitment to upholding highest standard of scientific integrity, ethics, and responsible conduct of research. Now, there are times in which people conduct research without integrity. And when I say without integrity, for instance, I know in Nigeria, many of our research, the way we treat animals, for instance, is not ethically inclined. Although some people get ethical approval to work with mice, some people get ethical approval to work with maybe other models, animal models. But then if you look at the way we work with these animals, these models, it's not really ethical, the way we treat them. So these are personal quality. If you're a person of compassion yourself, you know how to uphold this integrity to the highest standard. So you conduct your research, or you conduct a scientific research with integrity, ethics, and you are going to do it with responsible conduct to come out with a good outcome. Now, another personal quality skill is open-mindedness and diversity. Like I said, willingness to consider alternative perspective. Not everyone is an island of knowledge. So there is avenue, there is room for you to have people come up with alternative perspective, engage with you to give you idea which you don't even know about, or you are not aware of. So this is a quality that is going to help you be receptive enough to work with others people to promote inclusivity and diversity in research team and community, which I believe Biospherea members, many of you have, all of you have. So another skill that is essential, which I know many of us are conversant with, is the laboratory and research skill. So these are essential for scientists, researchers, and students to conduct experiments, collect and analyze data, and draw meaningful conclusions. So in an experimental or a laboratory settings, there are some things you need to know. There are some skills you need to have, which is going to help you work well in a laboratory or research settings. And one first thing is for you to have a continual learning skill, continual learning spirit, a commitment to lifelong learning through courses, workshops, self-study help you stay current and advance in your career. So one beautiful thing I like about Biospherea is that I discovered that most of the meeting you guys do is almost every week. And this is a way of having a continuous environment for people that even maybe, for instance, I'm not going to be reading any book today or for the week, for instance. But because I'm always attending Biospherea meeting weekly, I get to know things that I might not have myself gone to read on the internet or get books to read. So this is an environment that also cultivates the habit of continuous learning, and it helps students to it helps bioscientists to know what is current and to help them advance in their career. Another thing that you need to know for a laboratory and research skill is research design and methodology. Now, for undergraduates, not everyone know how to conduct design a research, or not everyone know how to go about writing a method to conduct research. So it's essential that you understand how to design and conduct experiments, survey, or study to collect and analyze data, which is under a laboratory and research skill. Let's say you are working in a lab, you are new in a lab, for instance, you are doing an IT placement, or maybe you are a research assistant. It is essential that you know how to do at least design a research for a simple research design for you to conduct on your own. So as you progress, as you grow in these skills, you get to know how to do more. You get to know how to work on methodologies that are even beyond your own knowledge. So this is another factor under laboratory and research skills that a bioscientist need to have. Another point is publishing and dissemination of knowledge. Now, in the laboratory and research environment, you need to know how to write research papers, because at the end of the day, they used to say a quality research paper is the end product of a research that is being conducted. If you are conducting a research and you don't know how to put it out as a publication, as a in which you are going to disseminate your research finding, it's like you are not doing anything. You cannot call everyone, sit them down, and start telling them what you've done in the lab. So the easy way for you to write a scientific article, you publish it on journal, conference, or media, then people that scroll around on this journal, on this attend this conference or media, they can easily get your work to know what you are doing. So this is another point under laboratory and research skills that we need to have as a bioscientist. Another point is grant writing and funding. Now, understanding how to write grant process and ability to secure funding for research projects. Now, because this is an early career essential skills, you need to know how to write grants, even if you are not going to be doing it now. So many of the times, people that get funding or grants are people in their maybe middle or late phase, because these people are already established enough. But because we are all early career scientists, we need to learn, and it's a process. So we need to start learning how to write grants in order to help us secure funding for research projects. It might be personal, it might be the one you are going to be doing in maybe a lab that you are working with a senior scientist. So these are some of the points we need to have under laboratory and research skill. Another skill that we need to have that everyone is aware of is the digital and technical skill. So these are essential to use technology tools and systems to achieve personal, academic, and professional goals. Now, there are several digital points that we need to know under digital and technical skill. Now, familiarity with statistical softwares. As a bioscientist, you cannot conduct a research in the lab and not analyze your data using a statistical tool. For instance, R, SPSS, and other statistical tools. So you need to you need to familiarize yourself with these tools in order to be able to advance or better communicate your research to the community that is going to be digesting or consuming your research. So you need to familiarize yourself with a statistical tool. Another thing is proficiency is Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel. So all these are also essential digital tools that we need to familiarize ourselves with. Some of them are used to analyze data also. Some of them are used for presentation, like Microsoft PowerPoint. Some of them are used for communication. So we need to know how to use all this as a 21st century bioscientist. These are essential for us to know. Now, programming and coding. Now, the world is going into AI now, and many people are designing tools that are useful to make life better. So programming and coding is essential, is useful for 21st century bioscientists to be able to also progress in their career. For instance, I was trying to conduct a research recently, and I discovered that I'm supposed to use R to conduct the research. Although I'm not an expert in R, because I have basic knowledge on how to use R, and there are platforms for me to also go, like YouTube, to learn how to use this software more or better. It's easy for me to navigate that challenges at that period. So programming and coding is an essential point under digital and technical skill that we need to also know how to work around. And also software development. Not everyone that can develop software, not everyone that can code know how to develop software. It gets, but if you can code, you should be able to go ahead to know how to develop software. So these are essential digital and technical school for 21st century bioscientists. So the next thing is professional development skills, which are acquired to enhance performance and advance career for achieving their long-term goals. So I know every one of us have a long-term goal for ourselves. So professionally, if you want to go into professional networking, professional settings, it boils down to you developing your professional skills. And some of the points under professional development skill are project management. Yes, you might end up being assigned to a project. You should be you should have the ability to plan and execute and oversee projects from start to finish. So this is an essential point under professional development skill. And this includes setting goals, managing resources, and ensuring that projects are completed on time and within budget. Now, not everyone has this ability to start a project and end it, of course. But then, because you are a person that has a vision for a long time, and you want to work, you want to progress, you want to exceed your expectation. So it boils down to you starting to know how to plan now, execute your project, and oversee this project from the start to the beginning. So you need to have this project management part of you for your professional development skill. Another thing is networking and building relationship. Ability to establish and maintain professional relationship with colleagues, mentors, and other stakeholders in your field. Not everyone has this mentoring spirit, networking spirit. Some people just get to network when they are maybe, for instance, in a conference or in a meeting like this, or in a situation where someone asks you. Now, you should be receptive, or you should be open enough to also reach out to people, and there are going to be a venue where people are going to reach out to you to ask questions, to want to have relationship in terms of relationship that is going to help them grow professionally. So education is not the only thing you can build, or being a researcher alone. You need to also build your professional relationship outside uh, research. So this is where networking and building relationship comes into for your professional development. Now, another thing is career development and planning, ability to set career goals, develop a career plan, and seek out opportunity for professional growth and development. So now, a career is not something that you begin now and you get to the climax in a day. It's a gradual process, like I've said earlier. And for you to establish or to get to the summit of your career, you need to set goals, develop plans, and also seek out for opportunity. Opportunity is not in the lab, but it's not restricted to the lab. Opportunity is outside. You might be surprised that people that are not even in the lab, people that they are in the industry, these are where you can get a opportunity for you to advance in your career, even as a bioscientist. So you are not limited to just seeking opportunity in the labs alone. The career is beyond the lab. If you are a bioscientist of this 21st century, if eventually anything you are going to be doing, the end product or the end reason for you to conduct research is for you to be able to have a real world application. So you need to also have a kind of relationship, a kind of engagement with the outside world. And this is where your career goals, career plans come into play. So this is what professional development skills are. So another part which we have here is the leadership skill. And leadership skills are essential for individuals to help themselves help others to also advance by giving and taking directives. I know we are all leaders. Now, a leader is going to come into play where you have issues or you need more idea, more knowledge to help others. Now, leadership is not a person that's just help themselves. They are open, they are available to help others. So these are skills you need to possess. And it's going to come to a stage where maybe when you are advancing your career, you are going to be assuming a leadership position. So you need to have the skills that are necessary, skills that are useful for you to be called a leader. So some of the important points for a leadership skill is teamwork. You need the ability to work efficiently with others, to collaborate on projects and contribute to team success. And I believe our Biospherea team is doing a great thing because your leaders are really doing a great job. Because sometimes when I sit down and I look at how do you people get to come up with topics every week? In fact, during this your anniversary, I was seeing another talk. Like I think that was last week, and I'm like, are you people going to be doing your weekly meeting when you are supposed to be preparing for your anniversary? So these are things where it's not a, a a a work of one person. This is a teamwork. And I really appreciate the leadership of Biospherea to have this initiative where they don't stop uh, they work because they want to achieve one order. So they are putting everything together. There are several teams, several people that are putting everything in place to achieve, to collaborate, to contribute to your team's success. So this is a very essential point for leadership skill, which is teamwork and mentoring. Now, at the end of the day, Biosphere is mentoring people. Now, these programs you people are doing is also helping people see their lapses, see where they need to take responsibility, and also be able to be accountable for growth, which the place of your leader is. So, as a member under this team, under this organization, you get to be mentored by people that are way ahead of you. They help you to do things that you might be finding difficult. So a leader is going to assume the place of a mentor and is going to help others take responsibility or be accountable for their growth. So another point under leadership skills are conflict resolution, managing and resolving conflict effectively. Leaders help to address this issue promptly and fairly to maintain a positive team dynamics. And when there are issues in a team, it's a responsibility of a leader to help bring solutions, to help bring address without siding one part or siding the other. So this is one of the skills that a leader must assume. And another thing is decision making. And it's not only for a leader that you get to have a making skill as a leader. Everyone has to have this at the point in their career as they grow. So the ability to make informed and timely decision help you to achieve those career goals, career plan, to also help to collaborate. So if a leader, as a lead, even followers have to also have this because at the point when your leader is giving you an instruction or helping you take accountability of your growth, you also have to take decisions on your own to also determine the navigation of your career or your professional journey. So a leader or a follower also have to have this decision-making skill. So now the process of establishing and lasting skills. So like I've said, we have 6 points: the leadership, the professional, the digital and technical, and the others. So for establishing a lasting skill, there are 3 points you need to go through. The first thing is to train. As you can see, this arrow is going back and forth. You start from training. When you get training, get to practice. When you get to practice, you have mastery. So when you have mastery, you can go back to training others. So this is a way in which an early career scientist get to have a lasting skill that is going to till death. They are going to have these skills. And it doesn't just end with you having these skills. You get to start helping others to grow. in their own career too, as a early career scientist. So this is a process of establishing a lasting skill for an early career scientist. So the importance of developing these skills for early career scientists, overall importance is that for advancement of career, you need to master the skill, such as communication, critical thinking, technical proficiency, and others to significantly enhance your career prospects. These skills are often the foundation for securing research funding, publishing in high-impact journal, or gaining recognition in the scientific community. Now, if you are going to go beyond where you are presently, you need to have all these skills. And this skill, as you do them, as you navigate them, it's going to also help your career advance. And I know many of us have a long time goal or a short term goal for us to achieve as we grow, as we move forward. So we need to know that as we practice this day in, day out, as we communicate, as we put forward our technical skill, we use it to help others. We take leadership position. We are advancing our career little by little, step by step. Now, effective collaboration is also essential because science is increasing collaboratively, and skills like teamwork, leadership, and networking are vital for building strong professional relationship and working effectively in interdisciplinary team. So, collaboration can lead to innovative research and also new opportunities. So, for early career scientists, it is important for you to establish a collaboration spirit, a collaborative spirit. So, if you have an idea but you don't know how to go about it. Now you have been able to come up with the concept. The next thing for you to do is to communicate with people that you know they are high ahead of you in their research area. So these people can also help you know how to navigate, how to come up with plans to execute that concept you have been able to draft out. So these are important things for early career scientists to note as they move forward. So in conclusion, developing this skill will help to set an early career scientist up for success and also build a strong foundation for their research career and STEM or industry. So it doesn't just end in STEM, like I said, it doesn't end in the lab. You can end up in future going to take position in, let's say, for instance, World Health Organization. All of them are scientists at a point, but then they get to move to the industry. They get to move the professional setting, start taking decisions that is going to enhance, let's say, the earth community, that is going to enhance environmental community. So these are skills that you need to put together that is going to help you move forward in career and to also help you establish success as you go in your pursuit for progress. So this is where I'm going to be ending today. Thank you for listening. I want to appreciate the team, Biospherea team, once again for this opportunity to present this on this topic today. So thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a very wonderful session, Chris. I would like to call up members of the community now for questions. We have very limited time, so we can move on to the next speaker for tonight. So please, can you drop your questions in the chats if you have them, or if you'd like to raise up your hand? I would also not mind. Thank you so much. These were very insightful and very direct. Okay, meanwhile, hi Chris. I would just like to chip this in. So while you listed the skills, you itemized a couple of things underneath. I would like to ask, is it a must that you have all, or you have a few? I know you mentioned it during your session, but for some listening now, and that might also be inclining towards the areas of interest, or might feel like this is a lot. Must you have all, or having just specifics are enough?
Okay. Now there is thank you for the question. Now there is a place of mastery, and there is a place of you having idea. Now, as a bioscientist, we know what we want. and we know where we want our career to tend to. So there are some skills that are going to be essential for you to have. For instance, if you want to go into a lab, for instance, it is compulsory you have digital and technical skill. You cannot tell me you are going to be ending up as a graduate student and you don't have any digital skill that you owed as a person to maybe conduct a data analysis, for instance. You get now. So the phase or the path in which you want your career to go into is going to determine the skills that you are going to hold with IST. But then there is no offense in you having all these skills. And the place of collaboration also help you to have at least limited knowledge of other things that you need to know. It's not like you are going to enter an environment or a setting where you are going to have other bioscientists and they are going to be discussing something you are not a mastery of. You should be able to at least say one or two things or even contribute one or two things. So that is the beauty of you having knowledge, at least taking from each of these skills, adding to yourself. So having all these things is going to add value to you. So you don't know where you are going at the end of the day, but you have a plan. You have a career goal. You have a set goal that you already have for yourself. So let's say, for instance, I'm planning to become a professor in future. And in future that I'm going, it gets to a point where I am now called up to come and assume a leadership position. You know, I am a leader. I might be a leader to my students in the lab. But then there are some things I need to also have for assuming this position I've been called for. I need to be able to communicate. You know, many of our lecturers in the university, they just come to the class, teach you and go. It might not be an effective way of communicating to students. But then they also need to assume this communication skill, which is one of the skills that I made mention, for them to also assume roles that are outside their normal comfort zone. So if you
Mm.
have more than one skill, if it's not a bad idea, but then you must be strong in one. You might be strong
Oh,
in one than the other.
yes,
You
very,
get,
very true. You must be
you might be
strong in
strong in
one.
one than the other. But then the place of weakness for the others come in for you to have a very strong collaborative spirit. If you don't know how to do something, you already have collaborators, reach out to them. They are going to provide solutions. So that is just the summary of that
Okay.
question.
Thank you so much. So we have two questions I'll begin, and I'll just appreciate you touch them a bit so we can move. I thank you so much for this session. Once again, emphasis will not be laid or cannot be exhausted on how clear your message was. So if a question from Emmanuel Adedion says, how does an early career scientist positions himself for entrepreneurial opportunities? I think I'll just call out the two questions and then you can attend
Okay.
to them each. And then the second question says, I would like to ask, what are some of the effective ways for networking, especially for undergraduates?
Okay. Thank you for the first question. I think the first question is, I'm going to read it here myself. What are the effective ways for networking for undergraduates? Yeah, undergraduates that knows what he or she is doing. If you believe after you graduate from school, you are going to be going for graduate school, for instance, you should be able to cultivate the habit of knowing how to discuss things that it's in the area of your research interest. And now you might have colleagues in the class that might not be really interested in discussing all these things. Now there are venues like this, like Biospherea, for instance. This is a platform where you can disseminate your own idea. You can disseminate your own interests. You can let people know what you want to do, so you can have the opportunity to maybe make contact with people that can even help you know more about what you want to do. So a venue like this for undergraduates is where they can get effective networking opportunity. Another way you can get networking opportunity is to use your social media platform. For instance, let's say you don't have anyone that you can directly communicate with, or you are restricted to see people that you can communicate your idea with, or no one is really interested in what you are saying in your immediate environment as an undergraduate. Your social media is there. Come up with concept of what you need to post, post regularly. At a time, you are going to see followers. They will start following you. When people comment on your posts, you know these people are interested in what you are saying. You reach out to them, start discussing. This is where you start striking conversation that is going to push you, that is going to help you know more. So opportunities like this is not restricted to the classroom for undergraduates. And IT placements, I know many of you go for IT, many of us go for IT in Nigeria during our maybe 300 or 400 level. This is also places where you meet with people, other students from different universities. You get to meet people. For instance, myself, I have over 5 people that I met during my IT that we still talk to today that are doing research in other areas that are different from my field, which is biotechnology. So let's say I'm having challenges with, for instance, biochemistry, and I need someone that can help me. I can easily reach out to these people, and I know they are doing well in their field too. So these are ways in which you need to use for you to effectively communicate, to network. And conferences, not everyone will have the opportunity to attend conference. Inaugurals are there as for undergraduates, you get now. So many
Yeah.
people get to go to inaugural, not because you want to learn one thing or the other, but because we want to eat, which is what I did as an undergraduate. But if you know what you really want to get out from inaugural, you are still going to learn one or two things. And there are professors, lecturer in your department that if you are serious enough, they are going to open up to you. You get now, they are going to work with you. And for you to reach out to these people, you yourself must be ready. You must be able to do one or two things yourself because before they can pour into you. They will not want to waste their time investing into someone that is not ready as an undergraduate. So this is one of the reasons why most of our lecturers in Nigeria don't really invest much time in undergraduate students because they believe many of them will just finish, they'll stop there. So they invest more time in PhD students, they are teaching or master students. So if you know you want to go further, cultivate this skill, cultivate this habit, reach out to them. You will see that they will just willingly help you. So that is what I can say about that. So the other one, how does an early career scientist position himself for entrepreneurship opportunity? Yeah, you want to go into entrepreneur, you will need to know how to analyze data. You need to know how to uh, put in data together. At the end of the day, entrepreneur is going to help you. Maybe you want to sell a product. You want to push out a content, for instance. You need to know how your information, your data is affecting the life of people. And some of the skill you need is digital and technical skill. These are the things you need to build yourself on. You get what I'm saying? You need to position yourself where work with people that connect with people that are into entrepreneurship. Let's say, for instance, you're a biochemistry, but at the end of the day, you don't want to do biochemistry. You want to go into, let's say, selling products. Like for instance, like Mr. Olaitan, I know Mr. Olaitan Owoyemi is working with a company where they sell laboratory equipment or so. I can't really remember. So he's doing something outside research, which is entrepreneurship. So these are people you know that they are also scientists, but they have entrepreneurship engagements. So these are people you can reach out to, work with them, let them know how they are going to teach you how they navigate or do these two things together. So is a successful entrepreneur selling products, delivering service, or like myself, people will come to me, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I have this idea. Let me help you. You put it out to them, you get deliver the service, they pay you. So these are ways in which you are going to build yourself. So I know there are a lot of people here that can answer this question like Mr. Lighton, like I said. So these are people you need to work with so you know how to position yourself for entrepreneurial opportunities. So
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.